Did you know that AC wasn't even made to cool people? The original design for an AC unit had nothing to do with temperature. It actually had to do with controlling humidity. With that said, I'm Keith with Yarborough & Sons, and I'm here to answer a simple question, but possibly a difficult one, depending on how you feel about humidity and temperature. But we're gonna look at why humidity matters more than temperature. So let's dive in. When we're talking about humidity, we kind of have to know why it affects, why we would want to control, what's the purpose of controlling humidity in our house. And put it very simple is, we are actually human beings, and with human beings, we have our built-in cooling system. And that's simply just by evaporation, kind of like what we're looking at when we're dealing with humidity. When the air gets to be so humid, our body can actually not dissipate the heat like we need to. So if evaporation isn't going on, then you're not going to feel as comfortable as you could at a lower humidity. That's why we really want to make sure we control that. Now you might say, I have an AC unit, so I'm good. Well, that's not necessarily true. We'll look into some of the things that cause different problems on humidity. But needless to say, we want to make sure that that humidity is well within its range of how it's going to feel comfortable to you in your house. Think of it this way, too much humidity in your house is going to actually feel a lot different than some house that has less humidity. You could have the same temperature and feel completely different. And I don't know about you, but I like to feel comfortable. I don't like to just feel a temperature. And that's what we want to do, is we want to make sure both things are together. And it's something that's often missed in most houses on what is the humidity in the house. In fact, nowadays, most thermostats are actually putting what the humidity is in the house, which gives a good indication to our techs on what we actually need to look at. With that being said, we might want to ask a question, what is a good humidity to have in my house? Rule of thumb, people like to say about 30 to 50%. That's not a bad deal. I'm more of on the side of about 40% to 55% is where I want that range to be. And that usually does pretty good. You start getting over 60%, you're gonna start getting that clammy, sticky feeling you don't want. Definitely don't want that. Along with that higher humidity, long periods of higher humidity can be even worse on your health because it can actually cause mold and other things to actually grow in your house. So we obviously don't want that. So we wanna make sure we keep that humidity low. Lots of times you'll see with humidity that it spikes up during certain times of the year. I know in Oklahoma, we have a time of the year where it's really bad. Other states, if they're a milder climate that has a low humidity, really doesn't bother them too much. Here we do have a few months, especially at the end of the spring, where the humidity spikes. Of course, we know that in houses it's gonna spike more because we're not running that AC unit as long. So longer runtime on a unit is definitely gonna help that. But we want to make sure that we don't go under that temperature threshold either, because we don't want you to feel just completely cold in your house because we're trying to get rid of humidity. But we have different ways of doing things. All that being said, we want to definitely realize that humidity is very important. And here's a truth bomb for you. AC doesn't always remove humidity, meaning runtime is actually going to be a key in how much humidity is actually removed. When we're talking about runtime, we obviously don't want to run the temperature down too low, but we want to make sure we are removing maximum amount of humidity. With that, there are tons of units out there that are actually not set up to run on comfort. They're actually set to run on efficiency. So how do we fix this? Do we just turn the temperature down and hope for the best? No, there's some simple things we can actually do to help fix it by yourself, or even have a professional do some things to help with this humidity. So come with me and we'll go check out our thermostat wall. So you as a homeowner, what can you do to fix your unit? Do you just simply turn down the thermostat and call it good? I wouldn't suggest that. It's definitely gonna make your unit run longer, so we will remove the humidity, but it's gonna drop that temperature quite a bit. So things you can do without even messing with your AC, you can look at different things like sealing up your house. A majority of humidity comes from the outside. So if your house has so many air exchanges per hour, which on average in Oklahoma, most of the houses I've seen have anywhere from 3 to 5 air exchanges per hour, which is kind of high. Energy standards actually lower it to about 1. That's where they want it. But that's still 1 every hour you're getting an air exchange in your house. And quickly, what I mean by air exchange is the amount of air that is replaced inside the house every hour. So this comes through anywhere that there's a leak in the house, whether it be opening your doors or just regular leaks. If you have a fireplace that's not sealed off, that's a common leak. Windows, old doors. And that's where I would start at. I would start at looking at where you can seal your house yourself. Doors are a good place. Look around the edges of your doors. If you have anywhere where you can see light through it, obviously air is coming through. Another thing you can do is showers. Showers put out a lot of humidity in a house. Actually, on my house, I actually was studying the humidity on it and found out that I got my humidity levels down, except for when anybody in the house would take a shower, it would spike up. And so with that, I was able to get some different switches that would actually run off of the humidity. But simply turning on your exhaust fan whenever you take a shower can be a great way to keep humidity out of your house. Another thing you can do is not run your fan all the time. Anytime you're running your fan on your unit, you're introducing air from outside. There's always leaks and all kinds of stuff from your unit that's probably being pulled in from attic space and all that unwanted air we don't want. So not having your fan run all the time is great to do. I understand that there's some things where you might have air cleaners and stuff like that. We definitely want to have those in play, and yes, running the fan's probably better to run, but this is kind of a deal where if you're having a high humidity or it's that time of the year, you might turn that fan to off during that, or to auto during that time. Besides that, you can always call us. Well, we are always looking for ways that we can help you be more comfortable in your home. Ways we could do that is by obviously sealing up those air leaks from your ductwork. That can always help. Looking over your airflow on your system, we want to make sure that your airflow is not too high. Most systems are actually designed to be more efficient, and the way they achieve that is by having higher airflow. When you drop that airflow down, you do lose a little bit of efficiency, but the comfort level that you gain is so much more worth it. The other thing we can do is we can do a whole house dehumidifier. Now you can always get a portable dehumidifier, and if you do, I suggest getting one that has a pump on it. Otherwise you're going to be pulling out water all the time and dumping water. The whole house one is really nice. It can tie right into your system and be controlled through either your thermostat or through a separate controller, which is really nice because you can have it run and be dehumidifying even when the AC is not working. These work really good for our climate because we live in that time where this late spring, you're always going to have a higher humidity than usual. So it really works well for those houses that have bad humidity on those senses. Besides that, you can give us a call. Let us come over and look over at your system. We're always doing pre-maintenances and stuff like that. Those are great times to come look and see what you need done to improve your system. Something as simple as a system being undercharged could actually be affecting your humidity. Those are all things that we need to test out for, but these are all things you can either do or have us call and we can do for you. So guys, I hope this answers your question for why humidity matters more than temperature for your comfort. So guys, if you need 5-star quality service in the Oklahoma City area, definitely scan this QR code and leave a comment how many thermostats you think we have on the wall. Thanks guys.